Welcome to the Author's Corner Review, brought to you by KNEO Radio 91.7 FM. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I'm going to be sharing with you about some of the books that are published by Bethany House, a division of Baker Publishing Group. The first book to tell you about is called Faithful of Heart. It is a Minnesota Legacy Book 1 written by Tracy Peterson. USA Today bestselling author Tracy Peterson launches a Minnesota Legacy series with this book, Faithful of Heart. Set against the backdrop of 1870 Minneapolis, Peterson weaves a gripping tale of a woman whose inheritance comes with strings attached, and the devastating truth that her family's fortune was built on another's ruin. When dedicated philanthropist Judith Stanford receives an unexpected summons from her estranged grandfather demanding she prove herself worthy of his inheritance, she faces a difficult choice. Though hesitant to engage with the man who has been absent from her life, Judith cannot ignore the potential of his vast fortune benefiting the charitable causes close to her heart. Adding to her uncertainty is the knowledge that the only man to capture her interest since her husband's death resides in Minneapolis, leaving her to wonder if their paths might cross again. Dr. Roman Turner dedicates his practice to serving the poor, but he carries deep wounds from the past. He harbors an intense grudge against Judith's grandfather, whose unethical business dealings led to Roman's father's death and devastated his mother and sister financially. When Roman encounters Judith again, he is stunned to discover that the woman has occupied his thoughts is connected to the very man he despises most. As Judith works to navigate the complicated history between their families and untangle her grandfather's morally compromised legacy, she begins developing a plan for making reparations to those who have been wronged. However, when it becomes clear that someone else has dangerous intentions for the inheritance money, Judith finds herself directly in harm's way, and her dreams of creating a new honorable legacy hang in the balance. With more than 100 novels to her credit, Tracy Peterson has mastered the ability to create historically accurate novels that readers have come to love. Join Tracy in exploring the early years of Minneapolis with this stirring series opener. Tracy Peterson is the best-selling author of more than 100 novels, both historical and contemporary. She has won the ACFW Lifetime Achievement Award and the Romantic Times Career Achievement Award. And you can learn more about her and her many novels at tracypeterson.com. And that's Faithful of Heart by Tracy Peterson. Next, we have a book called When They Met Again from the Letters from Lancaster County series, and this is written by Leslie Gould. A gently humorous, just friends romance from Leslie Gould, threaded with heart-deep characters and the timeless traditions of simple Amish life. It's love at first sight for Adam Slaybaugh, yet while Joanna Grebel finds him attractive and is intrigued when he declares his interest, she's less certain of the potential for a romantic future together. Instead, she proposes they be just friends, but Adam's not willing to settle for anything less than a romantic relationship. In response, he leaves Lancaster County for Florida, and soon after, Joanna begins courting Jacob Beyer, someone she deems a much more suitable match. When Adam returns to Lancaster County years later to pursue a career in his grandparents' successful home renovation business, he finds Joanna suffering from a broken heart. Misunderstandings and matchmaking schemes begin a tender journey of healing and romance, but is Adam's love enough to finally win Joanna over? Leslie Gould is the #1 best-selling and award-winning author of 50 novels, including the Courtships of Lancaster County series and the Amish Memories series. She holds an MFA in creative writing and enjoys research trips, church history, and hiking, especially in the beautiful state of Oregon where she lives. And that's When They Met Again by Leslie Gould. The next book is called The Good Fortune of Miss Robbins, written by Melanie Dickerson. My only remaining marriage prospects were the head gardener, the vicar, and the steward, but how could I marry any of them when I was in love with Lord Brookhaven? Charlotte Robbins accepts a governess position for the Earl of Brookhaven's siblings, despite rumors of the Earl's severe and mysterious demeanor. As a lowly governess, Charlotte entertains thoughts of possible romance with an eligible servant until she does fall unexpectedly in love with the pensive Earl himself. But love does not mean a match is possible, and the Earl's friends warn Charlotte that if he were to fall for her, it would ruin him. Just as Charlotte resigns herself to the impossibility of her feelings, she receives news that she has inherited a fortune from a long-lost relative. Now thrust into London high society, Charlotte grapples with suitors vying for her attention, but her heart still belongs to the Earl of Brookhaven. As secrets unfold, she's no longer certain if her newfound fortune is a blessing or if it is the very thing that threatens the love she's always longed for. New York Times bestselling and two-time Christie Award-winning author Melanie Dickerson writes happily ever after romance. With over 1 million books sold, her readers trust her books to inspire hope, faith, and love, especially the kind with a fairy tale-worthy ending. When she's not writing, Melanie can be found watching Pride and Prejudice for the 100th time, going on hikes to see caves and waterfalls with her handsome hero husband, and shaking her head at slightly unhinged Jack Russell Terrier. She lives in the beautiful foothills of the Appalachians near Huntsville, Alabama. And that's The Good Fortune of Miss Robbins by Melanie Dickerson. And our last book is called The Manhattan Confessions by Jocelyn Green. The streets of New York are brimming with secrets, and discovering the truth means navigating danger, deception, and an unexpected romance. Ivy Malone, a New York Historical Society librarian, is dedicated to preserving Manhattan's rich history. But when Society Grand Dame Andeline King anonymously reveals her shocking life story, Ivy finds herself holding a highly coveted secret. Burdened with the responsibility of keeping Adeline's identity hidden, the matter grows increasingly complicated when two men claim ties to the elderly woman, one of them accusing Adeline of involvement in a crime. Another dilemma brews when Ivy's Italian cousin Gina is detained at Ellis Island for lack of proper documentation. Hoping an immigration service can resolve the misunderstanding, Ivy employs their help, but is instead thrust into a dangerous world. With time running out, she must unravel the tangle of secrets that bind Adeline's past, Gina's freedom, and her own safety. Who can she trust, and how far is she willing to go to protect those she loves? Jocelyn Green inspires faith and courage as the award-winning and best-selling author of numerous fiction and nonfiction books, including A River Between Us, The Mark of the King, and the Windy City Saga series. Her books have garnered starred reviews from Booklist and Publishers Weekly and have been honored with the Christie Award, the Gold Medal from the Military Writers Society of America, and the Golden Scroll Award from the Advanced Writers and Speakers Association. You can find out more about her and her books at jocelyn-green.com. And that's the book, The Manhattan Confessions by Jocelyn Green. And now recapping the books: The Manhattan Confessions by Jocelyn Green, The Good Fortune of Miss Robbins by Melanie Dickerson, When They Met Again by Leslie Gould, and Faithful of Heart by Tracy Peterson. All of these books published by Bethany House, a division of Baker Publishing Group. And so if you'd like to know more about them, we encourage you to visit the Bethany House website. And if you would like to hear this review again or share it with another, you can find it on your favorite podcast platform or through kneo.org. This has been Roberta Foster with your Author's Corner Review. Join me again next time on KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word.